We're at a private residence out here in Roanoke, Virginia. And to start off, what we're going to do is have Linda walk through the house. She hasn't heard any of the activity that occurs here, so we're going to kind of get her to walk through unbiased and see if she gets any strange vibes in any particular room in the house.
Off and outdoorsy.
I've always been into Native American stuff. I've collected it, and I've actually got a lot of stuff packed up. I just buy too much stuff, and
Oh, I like the bear too. It's cute. Oh, look at those knobs. Ooh, those are fancy.
you
I like those. Yeah. Yeah, I like it against the gray of the cabinet. It kind of stands out.
Yeah. This is my junk room.
Yeah, so far everything feels okay. No major feelings. No. But this room, this is her room, right?
This is my room,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is kind of,
This is where the action is.
I was going to say, this is where I was drawn. I kept pointing into this room as we were walking around back there.
Yeah.
Like things moving. Like, do you find things moved at all?
No.
Or hear things moving?
No. There had been, there was one instance that was kind of creepy, and I still can't explain that, but I take a shower about every other day because my skin is so dry. And I went in to take a shower, and I've always just thrown my towels over across the top of the shower rod. And I went in there, and it's like, been 2 nights since I hadn't taken a shower. And I pulled the one towel down, and it was fine. And I pulled the other towel down, and it was...
Ooh, that's my stomach.
Didn't you feed her before you
Yeah,
We did, that's
that's
the
the
problem. That's what we ate.
And so then that other towel was just wet. I mean, it was wet. It wasn't soaking wet. It was just wet.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that's kind of strange. And then I took my bedroom shoes off, and I was getting in the tub, and I have 2 bath mats on the floor, and they were both wet. And I'm looking around, see if the ceiling is leaking. Or the tub is leaking, and there was no water anywhere.
Huh.
And that has not happened since then.
You said your parents built this house. Did your mother live here until she passed?
Yeah, but she did not pass in this
In the
house.
house. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this house was built in about 61.
Okay. What about, has there ever been anything strange in the kitchen? Any
Not that, no.
odd?
Not that I have noticed.
So the basement actually has a pretty calm and quiet feeling. It's compared to a lot of the basements we've been in, this is actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I had a bunch of people that, like I said, came in.
When I walked through the house, I have to say it was probably one of the most comfortable houses that I've been in that is reported to be haunted or to have some activity in there. It was quiet and calm. I didn't get any of those really strong feelings like there was something there. So I'm kind of surprised, but of course, if what she's experiencing is the spirit of a cat, that would kind of explain that. Because cats don't really have a very strong spirit necessarily, but cats are known to actually stick around after death. There's been quite a few occasions where people have said that they think they have a ghost cat in their house. Now, the odd thing about this is, this lady never had cats. Her mother and father who lived here never had cats either. So it's kind of strange that she's now experiencing something like that. And But, hopefully we can go in and get some sort of answers for her. I think she's had people here in the past that have never really gotten rid of it, and I think it bothers her a lot to experience this and to know that there's something going on and something there with her that she can't see.
One thing we learned is that after her parents passed away, she rented out the house for a couple years. And the little girl who lived here came up to her one day and said that there were some strange things. She asked her, did anybody ever die in this house? She said, why, maybe a couple people. Why do you ask that? The little girl just said light switches will turn on and off, and a lot of strange things happen in the house. So they were experiencing stuff. About 7 years ago, current resident moved into the house. No activity until this past April, around the time that her husband passed away.
Aggravate me, But I mean, it's not like he would do something over and over.
Okay, motion light, I'm assuming. Okay, so we want to determine, okay. So that's the source of this spike over here, most likely. So we do have a few stray spikes in the bedroom. Interesting, when I was coming in the door, I initially thought it was from the TV box that's back here. And it is coming from that box and from that clock. But the spike right inside the door, I couldn't pick it up again. Of course, when you get closer to this, we get a reading. But that reading, when I first came in the door, was not there again. And then right over here, as I get closer to this vanity, there's a spike. But then right before I get within the range of that spike, there was another random spike, which is just noteworthy. Not definitely paranormal, but definitely noteworthy. Now in this room, she feels something climbing up on the bed. And here, just had another random spike. And it's interesting because right here, that's gone. Right here is where she feels something climbing up on the bed, almost like a cat climbing up on the bed and walking around while she's sleeping. And it's interesting because this has followed her. It's not just happened in this bed. When she went to stay in a different town, it happened there as well. So possibly we're dealing with a cat at this location. But these spikes are definitely interesting because There it goes again. And it's done. Oh, there we go. Trying to find out the range of this. It's right in here. Right there. And if I hold it there and it's consistent, it's not. Definitely interesting. This is the light switch that she hears.
Yeah.
That click when it comes on. What I'm going to do is just kind of hit this area with the thermometer, see if anything passes in front of it. And I don't know what cat could resist a laser pointer, which is another cool thing with the IR thermometer. What's interesting is through this whole house, it's been consistent with the K2 meter. It's been consistent around appliances and around the TV, around this clock behind me here. But there's a random spike right here when I came in the door.
Oh, wow.
And then there was another several random spikes right here at the foot of the bed.
Huh. That is strange.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what we're going to do is we have the REM pod down here at the foot of the bed. And for occasions like this, we also have a cat toy. Alright? And we have the digital voice recorder going. Got a laser pointer on the IR thermometer. So let's see if we can, and this is where we got an interesting spike too, right down here at the foot of the bed. So I'm going to set the K2 meter here as well. Okay, and we'll see what we can get to happen. Alright. Just in case there is a person here,
Human.
we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And we'd like to know if there is anybody here with us. If there's a person that's here, could you try telling us your name? Could you come near one of these devices for us? Let's try the cat approach. See if we can get the cat to come up and
Set it off.
set this thing off here.
I know our cats can resist a laser pointer.
No, maybe old cats don't like to play as much though.
Could be.
If there is anybody here with us, do you know if there are any cats in the house?
Bridget would like to know who you are. Where did you come from? Did you live on this land? If there is a cat here, can you tell us his or her name? Do you know why a cat would be attracted to Bridget? Do you know what this has to do with her husband passing away? Why did it start just when he passed away? Does it have something to do with the people who rented this home for a while? What were they seeing and experiencing? I just saw a flash of light over here to my right. I don't know what that was. If there's any light reflecting.
Let's try this. I'll push this out here. Okay, I'll roll this out and see, just to see if anything catches its attention. Go ahead and push that back, Linda.
Okay. Maybe we ought to be carrying a can of tuna.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. So we're leaving the REM pod, the cat toy, and the digital voice recorder going here in the bedroom. And we're going to go out into the kitchen and do an EVP session out there. That's where her grandmother spent a lot of time. So if it's a possibility that her spirit is here, that may be a good place where she would communicate with us. So we've got the K2 meter here on the counter. And this is a good place for it because this isn't anywhere where we picked up a spike during the baseline. We did pick up a spike over here by the microwave. A steady spike, which was obviously coming from this. And once again over by the oven.
You just set that there.
Okay, I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And we don't mean to impose by any means. We're here because there's been someone in the house here that's possibly been trying to communicate with some of the residents, and we want to try to give you that opportunity to communicate. We want to find out who you are. We want to know why you're here. Could you please tell us your name? Maybe we should start with the spirit box.
Yeah.
You want to grab that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
We turned on this radio right here in hopes that you'll be able to use it to talk to us. Could you try again telling us your name, please? Got a spike on the K2 meter there.
Do you know if there's a cat in the house?
What was the thing that you made the most in this kitchen? What type of food did you make the most?
What was your favorite thing to bake? What did you like baking?
Are you a male?
Are you a cat?
Yeah. Said doubtful.
Doubtful.
That's what it sounded like anyway. It is doubtful that a cat would respond to our question. Definitely. It didn't seem like there was anything definitely apparent in the kitchen. We got to review the audio to see if we picked up anything coming through the spirit box, but there were some random spikes with the K2 meter once again. Nothing in direct response to a question that we asked, but just some random spikes. If it were the spirit of a cat, of course this would be consistent with that. But we have seen cases quite frequently where the K2 meter would just seem to spike at random, pick up a random spike. We're going to go now into this extra room here, and this is the room where the light switch is heard flicking on. We're going to see if we can get any answers as to if somebody is trying to communicate from within that room. If there is something that's trying to use the light switch as a means of communication, perhaps it's already familiar with how to manipulate electronics, and it can manipulate this.
Right.
At the same time, let's run the spirit box again. You want to?
Okay, yeah. We can do that.
All right, I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And we're here because we feel that somebody is trying to communicate or bring attention to this room. We know that this light switch often is turned on and off, and we want to know if that's you trying to get someone's attention, and if so, why you're trying to get their attention. So we have a couple devices here you can interact with. If you come near this red light, just like the light switch, it'll activate more lights, but you don't have to flip anything. If you could flip the light switch while we're in here, that would be awesome. Now let me ask you, is this light normally on or off when it happens?
Off.
Off. So we're going to go ahead and turn the light off to recreate the scene. So perhaps you could, if you could turn the light on for us, let us know that you're here and trying to communicate. Could you try telling us who you are? We've told you our names. Could you tell us yours?
Do you flip the light switch because you want the lights on? Is it because you don't like the dark? Was this once your bedroom? Is there anything you'd like to tell Bridget?
Are you related to anybody that lives in this house?
Erica?
Something. Erica.
Definitely heard Erica, yeah. Not sure if that was radio chatter, or does Erica have any significance?
Nobody named Erica?
No.
Is there a cat here? Who does the cat belong to? Why is the cat here?
Nothing apparent in the guest room up there. We weren't able to get anything to interact with the light switch, the REM pod. There were some things that came through the spirit box. It didn't seem like it was direct response to anything we were asking,
Right.
but it seemed like the name Erica came through, possibly. So we got to do a little research, see if we can find any association
Sorry.
with that name to this property. The other thing that Linda heard. I didn't hear it, so we got to review that as well. It sounded like I hate animals.
Yeah, or just hate animals.
Hate animals.
Yeah, it sounded like it came through at the very end there, so we'll try to review it and listen for that.
Absolutely. But we came down here in the basement, not because there's a plethora of reports down here in the basement,
Right.
and not just because basements are naturally creepy places at times,
Yeah.
but because the basement is the lowest point of the house. And if this is something that is attached to the land before this house was built, this is where the land was ultimately disturbed.
That's right.
First disturbed, the basement.
Yep.
So the closest to the land we can get is down here.
Yep.
Let's see what we can pick up.
This is probably the nicest basement. I mean, even though it's cluttered, there's a lot of stuff in it. It's still one of the nicest basements I've been in. It's very comfortable down here. Like I could live down here very easily.
Oh yeah,
Put a
absolutely.
bed down here, I'd be fine.
Yeah, I could definitely put a few arcade machines down here and
Yeah.
be set. This would be cool. Alright, I'm Jeff,
I'm Linda.
and we don't mean to impose on your land. We're not trying to be here unwanted. We're not anybody that's responsible for putting this house here or anything else on this land. But we're here to see if there is somebody that is feeling a certain way about this house being on this land, about the changes that have been made to this land. If there's anybody here with us, could you try telling us your name? Feel free to come near these red lights as we're talking, or this red light. It'll simply light up, change colors, and let us know that somebody is indeed here with us. How long have you been here on this land?
Did you have a house nearby?
From where do you enter the house? How many are here with us right now?
What is your favorite room in the house?
Were you born on this land?
Did you own a farm?
Do you know why we're here? We're not here to cause you any problems or any discomfort. We're not here to ask you to leave or to try to take anything from you that belongs to you. We're simply here because the woman who lives in this house has had some interesting experiences. And she believes at certain times when she should be the only person in this house, she believes there's somebody else in here with her. So we're here to find out who that is. Who is in this house with her? Who is it that makes her feel like she's not alone? If there is a message that you would like to communicate, no matter what that is, we are here to listen to that message. You can tell us because we only want to help. Whether it's you or whether it's the woman that lives here, hopefully both. We want to help.
I wonder when her last dog died. And the reason I asked that is because I was thinking, how do you get rid of a cat? To bring in a dog. You know what I mean? How do you get rid of a mouse? You get rid of a cat, or you bring in a cat.
Right.
But I was thinking about, because she said that she had dogs. But she stopped getting more dogs because of the fact that it hurt too bad when they passed away.
Right.
I wonder if she got rid of a dog around that time period. Or shortly before that. Perhaps the cat started coming around because the dog disappeared.
That could be.
There's no longer a dog in the house.
At first glance, it doesn't seem that we picked up a whole lot in the basement. I gotta say, the REM pod has been quiet all night. This hasn't gone off once. We didn't really get any K2 spikes down here. This has been the one place we hadn't got any. But we did do a fairly extensive EVP session down here in the basement, which definitely needs to be reviewed to see if we got any answers. We even tried calling the cat and putting our hand down by the REM pod to see if the cat would come over and interact with it. It didn't happen. So we're going to head upstairs. We're going to try a couple other methods of communication here, a couple other ways to see if we can get something to talk to us tonight. And the ball is still on the bed.
Ball. Good. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to start the spirit box, and we're going to leave the digital voice recorder here with it in the bedroom, and then we're going to go outside for a little while, just a short while, just enough to sort of give something that may be here a little bit of privacy and let it have a little quiet time, getting used to us not being here again, and see if something kicks up.
Absolutely. And to do this, let's put the spirit box on the floor.
Okay.
We'll put the digital voice recorder on the bed.
Okay.
And right next to the digital voice recorder, I'm recording now, right next to it will be this ball. So if that gets moved, that's going to pick it up. Also, this won't be louder than the spirit box, but given its proximity to the digital voice recorder will definitely pick up if this goes off.
Right.
And we'll still be able to hear the spirit box if it's down on the floor because it's plenty loud.
Yes. Here we go. Wait. Let's leave it right there.
All right. So we left the spirit box going with the REM pod and the cat toy in there and the digital voice recorder going, and stepped out of the house. Gave it about 20-25 minutes. We're gonna go back in now, and we're gonna leave the spirit box rolling, and we're gonna try asking some questions, because this is the one place where we have not tried the spirit box yet, was in her bedroom.
Right.
So we're gonna see if we get any responses through that. And then after that, we're probably going to wrap it up.
Yep.
And go over all the recordings and see if we got anything.
Yep.
Entering. Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm back here. Was here talking to you before, perhaps. We left for a little bit in hopes that you would come out and feel a little more comfortable. And now that I'm back, I'm going to ask that you please don't go away. If you are here, I still haven't caught your name yet. Can you tell me your name? Is there a cat that wanders around this house, or is it something else? If it is someone else, can you tell me what you want? Can you tell me who or what it is that climbs up on this bed? If you for some reason are not happy with us being here, tell us. Tell us that you want us to leave. On the other hand, if you're okay with us being here, can you tell me that it's okay for us to stay? How did you get here in this house? If you're trying to get attention, you have it now. And we'd love to know what you want. Is there anything we can do to help you? Can you give us some kind of a sign that you're here? About 10 years ago, there was a family that lived in this house. Do you know that family? The little girl said that there were some things that happened in this house that she couldn't explain. Was there somebody here trying to communicate with her? And if so, are you still here? Do you miss that family? Kitty, 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 kitty. So that was really interesting, I have to say. The K2 meter going off like that. Now keep in mind, there's a couple interesting things to consider. That K2 meter didn't go off the whole time we were in here doing the spirit box session. But as soon as I take this ball and start shaking it over it, it gets a few significant spikes. And this ball, it's just a simple plastic ball with a little bell inside. There's nothing electric to it, nothing that will set off a K2 meter. I can even demonstrate that. As I put this in front of the K2 meter, there is nothing that's going to set off that K2 meter. And right now, I'm right up on it with the camera. There is nothing that's going to set that off. Well, what's interesting is if we put that together with the baseline sweep, picture a normal house cat. If I come into the bedroom and the house cat is sitting on the foot of the bed and it sees me coming through, it may look for a minute and then it may not be used to strangers, so it may take off running. The more we're here, the more it might start to come out, warm up to us a little bit. And then when I go ahead and jingle that ball, it's ready to play. just a theory, but definitely some interesting stuff. And I'm looking forward to going back over the audio and seeing if we got anything significant in that as well. Welcome to the evidence room. This case, it was one of those cases where we show up to and we're not 100% sure what to think. The woman said that something would crawl up from the foot of her bed.
Yeah.
She said it would mess with her feet, so she tried putting on like these fluffy socks and it would kind of tear at the socks.
Pick at the socks, yeah.
It got worse.
Yeah.
It would follow her when she went and stayed out of town one time. Once again, it comes crawling up on the bed. It's like it was
Right.
with her. And it kind of alluded to the possibility that it could be a cat.
Right.
Now, a lot of times people will say, ghost cats, that sounds kind of out there.
Right.
But a lot of people, on the other hand, have had experiences
Yeah.
with animals.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing is that makes this case a little more unique is usually when people are experiencing the spirit of an animal, it's an animal that was theirs, that's attached to them.
Right. Not the case here.
Right, not the case here. Now, being the audio, Linda, you didn't find anything
No.
in the audio.
No, didn't find anything in the audio. And, we have heard animal sounds over audio before.
Right.
So it was completely possible that we could have heard a cat during the investigation. But some of the other things that occurred in the house, and particularly one instance, kind of made us think that maybe the cat stayed in hiding for the majority of the time that we were there. So, it could be that it was hiding and didn't want to come out and hang out until we were just about ready to leave.
Right. And we still asked questions just because if there was a human spirit there
Right.
as well, or if it was a human spirit that, had some kind of a weird thing where it was
Yeah.
crawling up from the foot of the bed and messing with the feet, we wanted to ask some questions just to give that opportunity.
Right.
What was interesting in this case, and I'm going to play the clip right here, but I'd like to kind of reintroduce it as you saw it in the video. When I went in there, okay, and I paint this picture, I went in there during my baseline sweep, and there were a few random spikes in the bedroom. One of them was at the foot of the bed,
Right.
and then it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Went throughout the investigation, a little bit of activity on the K2 meter when I put it on the floor in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and then nothing else, not a thing with the REM pod,
Yeah.
nothing through the spirit box that we didn't determine was most likely radio chatter.
Exactly.
And then towards the end of the room, or towards the end of the investigation, I come in that same room where this K2 meter was sitting, and keep in mind, these spirit box sessions, these EVP sessions, they're long.
Right.
I edit them down so you don't have to sit there and watch us be quiet and listen to an empty room.
Yeah.
It would make the video incredibly long.
Yes.
So every time it phases, I'm cutting off, a good portion of it.
Yes.
We're just kind of giving you an overview. Here's the
Right.
questions we ask. Here's the evidence we did or didn't get, just to show you what it's really like. But I walk in and I'm in the room doing a solo spirit box session. In there for some time, nothing. So before I leave, I decided to pick up this cat toy and jingle it around the equipment to see if anything activates. And sure enough, that K2 meter spikes.
Right.
Which was pretty cool. So watch the clip right here. First is the baseline sweep with the spike near the bed, and second is the spike at the end when I was jingling the ball. But these spikes are definitely interesting because there it goes again. And it's done. Oh, there we go. Trying to find out the range of this. It's right in here. Right there. And if I hold it there and it's consistent, it's not. Kitty, 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 kitty. Now, if you were to take this as a normal cat, a living cat,
Right.
okay, think about it. If this cat if the bed, cats have their places in the house.
They do.
If that bedroom, the foot of the bed was this cat's place,
Yeah.
I walk in there, we're strangers. You know, I'm holding my little thing around there, and it sees it, sniffs it for a second, and then it takes off.
Right.
And it hides from us the rest of the investigation. Is curious. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Maybe when I was in the kitchen and set the K2 meter down, maybe it came out because we're there for a while out of
Yeah.
curiosity and kind of walked
close.
around a little bit, sniffed it, because we've seen living cats come up and sniff our equipment.
Right.
You know? And then it decides to go back and lay on the bed and hang out in the bedroom. I come in there, and when I jingle this ball around, at this point it's warmed up to us enough where, hey, I'm going to come out and play.
Yes.
This is just a possibility. It's just a possibility I'm presenting. Now, I took that ball and I jingled it in front of that thing to see if there's any kind of friction or any kind of a charge that this bell was holding.
Right,
I
there's
took it out.
nothing.
I showed the client at the end of the night. I was like, look, this ball is not setting this thing off. I
Yeah.
can't get it to do it again.
Wouldn't
but
do it.
that one time, it did it. Could have been coincidence, but I would say
Yeah.
it's possible evidence that there was definitely
Something.
a cat
Yeah.
in this house.
Absolutely. And it could have also been that because you were doing kind of a solo session back there by yourself, it wasn't quite so intimidated. You know, it may be more willing to come out if it's just one stranger than it is two walking around. So
Absolutely.
that could also be another possibility.
That's right. But I want to thank you all for watching this investigation. We just want to present the truth. We want to present how an investigation goes.
Yeah.
The entertainment factor isn't always there, but it's the reality of it, which we
right.
feel is important. Until next time, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Linda.
And remember, there's much more to see in the dark.